with the previous issue in the Rise of Kylo Ren comic series ending with Ben Solo determined to find the Knights of Ren so that he might become who he truly was and what he was always meant to be as encouraged by Snoke. Yesterday's third issue in the series began with Ben's search for the Knights. While the series is still slowly revealing Ben's path with the Knights of Ren, issue 3 does provide a few interesting scenes with Luke Skywalker training a new generation of Jedi as part of his new Jedi Order. Opening on the mid-rim planet of Varnak, we see Ben successfully track down the Knights of Ren, who appear to be simply relaxing within a cantina. Because of their communication in the previous issue, the leader of the Knights, named Ren himself, had been expecting Ben, noticing his disheveled appearance with a joke that went over Ben's head. Attempting to get Ben to relax, Ren removed his helmet and got to the point, recognizing that it was Snoke's opinion Ben could benefit from traveling with the Knights. However, while Ren could sense Ben was strong in the dark side of the Force, or the Shadow as the Knights called it, Ren explained there needed to be more if Ben was to join them. As we learned in the first issue of the series, joining the Knights required a death, one that Ren deemed a good one. As Ben explained that he'd killed a Jedi, Ren wasn't so certain, believing Ben was referring to Luke Skywalker, who both Ren and Snoke doubted was truly dead. But Ben wasn't referring to Luke, specifying that he meant another Jedi. With Ren now interested, he prepared to hear Ben's story to see if it was worthy of his gaining membership among the Knights. Unsurprisingly, Ben's story began with his confrontation of Vo, Hennix, and Tai, the 3 Jedi students who'd been pursuing him over the previous 2 issues, hoping to bring Ben to justice for destroying the Jedi Temple and what they believed his killing their Jedi Master Luke. But before Ren could decide if the death Ben was revealing met their standards, the leader of the Knights wanted to hear more about the individual Jedi themselves and who they were to Ben. With that, Ben began to explain their training years earlier at Luke Skywalker's Jedi Temple. In a scene showing Luke explaining to Ben and the other students within his new Jedi Order that the Force flowed through everything, including themselves, Ben first focused on his relationship with Vo. Ben recognized early that Vo had always tried to match his strength with the Force, whether it be in lightsaber combat, meditation, or other Jedi techniques. Given that she worked just as hard as Ben did, she couldn't understand why she couldn't match his abilities. This would prompt Luke to explain to Vo that it wasn't true Ben was stronger. For any Jedi who could sense the Force, Luke was certain its potential could be obtained by anyone. For Luke, each Jedi were like a door, where if a Jedi simply opened themselves up to the Force, it would flow more easily through them. And in the case of Ben, his door may have started more open than Vo's. However, despite Luke's instruction, Ben always knew Vo was angry for her failings, feelings that went against the way of the Jedi. Next, Ben explained what he knew about Hennix, who Ben found to be funny and smart, and also very different than Vo, in that while she viewed the Force as a contest, Hennix saw it as a puzzle to be unlocked. We then see a scene of Luke standing over Hennix as the student was attempting to open a Jedi holocron. As Luke explained, because each holocron was different, opening one required a Jedi to listen for exactly what it was attempting to tell them, so they could unlock the lessons inside. Eventually, through Luke's guidance, Hennix would open the holocron to be welcomed by its gatekeeper. With Ben reminiscing, he believed Hennix would be happy to dedicate his life to trying to solve the puzzle that was the Force. Finally, Ben would get to the third student, Tai. Remembering a moment he had with the Jedi student, Ben recalled Tai explaining he could sense Ben was always attempting to hide who he truly was, locking aspects about his life away within himself. When Ben attempted to explain, it was obvious why he did it, given he was Ben Solo and from such an important lineage. Tai didn't accept that, instead telling Ben his lineage meant it was only more important to be who he was, as when he stopped being afraid of what others might think of him, that's when the rest would follow. However, Ben didn't share this memory with Ren, merely telling the Knight that Tai was Tai. Ren accepted that and felt he knew each of the students enough to understand who they were, then imploring Ben to explain what happened during the duel. As we've seen in the previous issues, as the duel ignited, Ben simply wanted the students to leave him alone, using the Force to jump to a cliff above them. However, Vo refused, again demanding justice for what he did to the temple and Luke. While Vo force jumped to confront Ben upon the cliff, Hennix pursued on foot. But when Vo referred to Ben as a murderer, Ben couldn't hold himself back any longer, declaring that if that was what she wanted him to be, then he would become just that, force pushing her from the cliff to the ground far beneath them. Only Ben would instantly regret this action, reaching out with the Force to catch Vo and stop her fall. But this act of clemency wasn't witnessed by Hennix, who in believing that Vo had been killed, snuck up behind Ben and threw his lightsaber towards him. Forced to let go of Vo, Ben then turned his attention to the lightsaber spinning towards him, stopping it with the Force and redirecting it back at Hennix as Vo continued her plunge towards the ground. By that time, Ty was able to position himself beneath Vo and use the Force to slow her descent, not completely, but enough to ensure they both survived. While at the same time, Ben and the two remaining students heard a brutal scream coming from Hennix. At that point, Ben had enough of Vo and Ty, and using the Force, he lifted both of them into the air and threw them inside the Jedi outpost that had been explored by Ben and Luke years earlier as seen in the previous issue. With the two Jedi within the outpost, Ben used the Force to pull down the massive statues that stood before the entrance, trapping Vo and Ty inside and allowing Ben to escape and seek out the Knights of Ren. With Ben's story finished, Ren then asked the other Knights whether they thought Ben had proven himself enough to join them, and upon their unsatisfied silence, Ren joined the other Knights in agreeing that Hennix's death hadn't been a good one, as it wasn't truly what Ben wanted. However, Ren wasn't ready to completely give up on Ben yet, as Snoke had vouched for him and he was strong in the dark side. Therefore, the Knights allowed Ben to travel with them to see if he could prove himself further, and upon Ben obtaining some new clothes that would better meet the reputation of the Knights, he was invited by Ren to join them on their next mission. The issue ends with Vo and Ty using the Force to break themselves free from the temporary trap created by Ben, with both Jedi then beginning their ascent up the cliff to determine the fate of Hennix. As Ty revealed, he was able to look upon Ben's thoughts during their duel and knew he would seek out the Knights of Ren to embark upon his true path, while Vo was concerned only where Ben's path ended. Ty concluded he believed Ben was already lost, as the two Jedi looked down upon their fallen friend Hennix. So there we have it, the beginning of Kylo Ren's path with the Knights of Ren. Thank you very much to all of the Patreon members of Star Wars Reading Club, as your support is so greatly appreciated. You can find all of our social media links and a link to our Star Wars gaming channel in the description below for updates and even more Star Wars content. We love making these videos, so why not subscribe for more fun Star Wars theories and discussions. Also, if you enjoyed the video, think about giving a like or leaving a comment. If not for me, for Rvmuller.